and we'll continue. Let me process. So when you buy something in Mexico, what is the process for it to get to your account? And what is the timeline? So the first thing, obviously, you buy the product. We're gonna have a separate video on how to choose the product. It can take 1 to 3 weeks for the delivery to the Mexican warehouse. So sometimes it's really fast. The next day they can deliver. Sometimes the same day, sometimes the same week. It just depends on the item that you're ordering and how far it is from the warehouse. And also, I mean, what type of item are you ordering? Are you ordering 1,000 units of something that's custom made, or are you ordering something off the shelf that they can just get within the next 3 days? So it can be, you can estimate it 1 to 3 weeks from the time you order to the time it gets to the warehouse. Most of the time is about a week or less. So you can count somewhere in there. But I put 1 to 3 weeks just to kind of give you a realistic expectation of a timeline. And then it has to be labeled to be crossing to the US, especially if it's food. It has to be labeled according to the FDA guidelines. Or if it's like health and beauty stuff, it has to have a specific label. There's very specific guidelines to crossing. So if it needs a special label, for instance, if they use grams and the FDA wants ounces, you have to know that. If not, they're going to stop it at the port of entry. So you do that to the custom broker to make sure it's labeled correctly to come into the US. It's the same thing from China. Anything that you bring over from China needs to be labeled a specific way, in really reality from any country. So that's something that we have experience and that we use, and we make sure that it labels. So we go through that process. And once you have something that you already bought once, then you already know. You already know what type of label it requires. Especially it needs to be, some of the stuff needs to be in English, okay? So then after it's labeled in Mexico, and it crosses over in an American warehouse, sometimes it needs to be prepped. Sometimes it can go out the next day, the next few days. So I just put a week. So basically, one of the things that we do is we label in Mexico. That allows us to save money by having the stuff labeled in Mexico. Prep is cheaper, and then it can be faster too, because you can get multiple people to prep. So the prepping in the US is very, very minor. That, I think, it's a big time saver and big financial saver. And then once it's labeled and goes out, our travel to Amazon warehouse, it depends where it goes. Sometimes Amazon can take up to 3 weeks, especially in the Christmas season. It can take a while to get to Amazon. But if it's UPS, if you can just put it in a box, if something that's small, it's a big advantage because it just takes a few days to get to Amazon and be on sale. But if it's palletized, it takes a long time to check in. So that's something to consider with ordering. One of the things that we recommend is for you to buy 2 months of worth of inventory, because that way, if it takes a month and a half to get to Amazon while it gets labeled, and then you have 2 months of selling, it gives you enough leadway to see the sales velocity and to order again and to send again. I mean, you could venture all the way up to 3 months of worth of inventory, but I think 2 months, if you're on top of it, it should work, because it's gonna take less than 2 months to get to Amazon again. So you shouldn't be able to run out. You just have to know your sales velocity, and then that way you know. So now you know 1 to 3 weeks, could be a week, could be up to 3 weeks. Then 1 to 2 weeks label in Mexico, then the American warehouse. So it's a 3 to 4 months of turnaround to your money. So you buy something and you're gonna expect to profit and sell the stuff and have the return. And after that, you just get deposits every 2 weeks, and you check your messages, you make sure that the deposits are correct, and then you plan the reorder. So this is the process that you can expect when you order from Mexico. That it's basically wholesale from Mexico and wholesale from the US is gonna look about the same. You're gonna add a few other steps, but the timeline shouldn't change too much. So that's what we recommend. If you have the capital to buy for 3 months of inventory, that would be awesome. But if you only have 2 months, it should work to the point that you don't run out. Running out of inventory in Amazon, they penalize you. If there's nobody else selling the inventory, Amazon doesn't like customers to look for a product and then not be in stock. The Amazon doesn't like for customers to be disappointed. So what happens is they slow down where they show you and how they show you on people's pages, because if they can't trust you to keep it in stock, I mean, we've had products that we have 1,000 units selling a month, like 2,000 units. Then it goes out of stock for a long time, and then we think it's gonna go back and sell the same, but it doesn't. It goes to 300. Usually it goes to 1/3. So that's something we look for. That's one of the things that we like to do, is to partner with people, because if we can cover all the capital to sustain the inventory, because it takes 3 to 4 months for turnaround, we let other people sell it, because it's mutually beneficial, because the speed doesn't go down when people don't run out of stock, and that helps us out a lot. Now there's a new thing that if you run out of stock, they'll even charge you money. So something very important, like keep that stuff in stock. You're hurting yourself by not keeping it in stock. So you want to go wide. You want to go very wide on the products, but not wide enough to the point where you're hurting yourself by missing a stock inventory and not having it in stock. So definitely something to watch out for.